Free trading guidance, the third round, from $10 to $10,000. Day 5, the account has already grown 14 times in 10 hours of continuous trading. It is now 6:40 a.m., March 20th, Vietnam time. In front of us is the M5 timeframe chart, where the price has just made a strong move up, after breaking out of a large range wedge pattern. After the breakout, the price is currently consolidating in a zone marked in pink. This is exactly the area where the long wicks previously swept through. This makes me think and wait for another breakout before deciding what to do. So which side will have the advantage in this situation? Will the buyers win or the sellers? However, if we look at the current candle momentum, we can clearly see that the buyers have the advantage, right? The candle that created this breakout has a body larger than 3 points, and it closed above the wick of the previous candle. This makes me still feel quite hesitant and not ready to enter a trade. Why is that? Because normally when price breaks out of a consolidation zone, it does not move up that strongly. If it moves up as much as 3 points, I have to be more cautious. At this moment, I will wait for the price to pull back to half of that candle's body. Then I will enter a buy trade. Otherwise, I will skip this opportunity, because entering right now would not be optimal in terms of the risk-reward ratio. While the price was moving, I drew a trend line, and I saw that it acts as support for this consolidation zone. Therefore, placing the stop loss below the trend line is reasonable, and I will still look for a profit target of 2R for this trade. But then, the buying pressure started to weaken. The price moved up weakly and was pushed back below the trend line by the sellers. This makes me feel that today could be a strong bearish session. At this time of the session, the market often drops and makes strong pullbacks. Have any of you noticed this? So I will look for a buy opportunity when the price prepares to retest the drop. That is also a setup where price drops and stalls right at support. The next candle is a green candle with a long lower wick. The wick sweep is longer than the candle body. I decide to enter a buy trade immediately, but I still keep the profit target at 2R. However, if this retest succeeds and the price continues to fall, I will cut the trade immediately. Today, the market is unusually hard to predict. You see, it's just the start of the day, and there are already 2 losing trades. It dropped without any retest at all. Really frustrating. A question for you. Please try to analyze the price action of the last 7 candles. What does it show that made me enter a buy trade at this location? For this buy trade, I'm still targeting 2R. So please analyze the behavior of each of the last 7 candles. I want you to practice reading price action accurately for the future. After the price reacts and forms an evening star pattern in the resistance zone, I decide to cut the trade. That is the buyer's base, so if the price drops back again, I will enter another buy trade. Remember to buy when there is a bullish reversal candle at this base. The market is really unpredictable. I should have just held the buy trade instead of cutting it for no reason. But the bullish momentum is still strong, so I decide to open another buy trade. I think it will retest that trend line, and this area is also close to the previous high. However, this trade only targets about 1.5R instead of 2R. The last 2 red candles are much stronger than the previous 2 green candles. Moreover, I also noticed 2 upper wick sweeps, so I tried drawing another trend line. and surprisingly it fits perfectly and is respected by price. This makes me realize that this trend line is more reliable than the previous one. Do you see this clearly? I'm not always 100% accurate either, so if you draw it incorrectly, don't worry, because this takes time and experience to improve. This sign shows that a successful retest for a drop is possible. Therefore, I entered a sell trade and still target 2R, because there is still a support zone below. After the successful retest, the sellers gathered their strength and defeated the buyers. This caused the market to drop sharply. However, when price reached the previously defended support zone, the previous low, where I had successfully entered a buy trade, I saw hesitation. A green candle appeared. This candle has a lower wick, longer than its body. It shows selling pressure, but it is rejected by the buyers. I decide to enter a buy trade immediately, and the profit target is still 2R. Hey, 75,000. Buyers. Come on. Almost there. The next question for you in the group. Please analyze and tell me why I entered a sell trade at this position, and where I placed the take profit, roughly at which price zone. That last red candle is a clear signal to me that the market will continue to fall. Why? Because before that, there were 2 doji candles. They show indecision and a battle between buyers and sellers. But the following red candle closed below both wicks of the doji candles. This shows that the sellers won the battle and selling pressure remains strong. This is another confirmation that the market will continue to fall and can reach the take profit. Easy to understand, right? When a morning star forms right at the support zone and looking at the price action, I understand that the price still wants to continue falling, so I keep the trade. If the price rises and closes above the resistance zone, I will cut the trade. This trade may make a small profit or a large profit, but now it cannot lose any more. Why do I say that price is unlikely to break above the resistance zone? Simply because I can clearly see that this resistance is at the confluence of the 50 and 618 Fibonacci levels. I drew the Fibonacci to help you visualize it, but in fact I usually draw it by eye to be faster. I have shared this quick eyeballing method with you many times in the group. There was one time like this. Next question. I have moved the take profit down to the next price zone, no longer at the old zone. So please tell me what the new price zone is and why. The reason is what matters, because I know that after watching the video and looking at the chart, you can easily guess the price zone. You will not only receive trading fee rebates through my Batcom program, you will also immediately receive detailed answers to the exercise questions I usually give in the group. This means you no longer need to join the group to get the answers. You only need to register through my Batcom. With this combined program, you will better understand price action knowledge, know how to identify optimal entries and trades, know the answers to see whether you are doing the exercises correctly and improving, and most importantly, you can learn and receive Batcom every day. This is not only an opportunity to learn and improve your trading, it also helps you optimize your costs and benefits in trading. Register with my assistant now, don't miss it. Later on, the market becomes easier to read, so it can be analyzed. If the market had continued the way it did at the beginning, I probably would have lost today. It would have been hard to make a profit. It has been more than 10 hours. Now let's review today's trading history. Everything is clear and transparent. A video without trading history is very easy to edit, right? I am 10-hour trader, helping you trade better.